The only drama that truly matters, guys. Man versus bear. Okay, it's time to weigh in. Or would you rather find yourself alone in the woods with a bear or a man? The most important question that nobody talks about is, what kind of bear? Because just so it's clear, if it's a koala bear, never pick the koala bear. I would pick almost any other wild animal over fucking koala bears. Evil ass things. This thing is being so fucking silly. I know I'm so late to it. I'm sorry, okay? I actually haven't engaged in any discourse about it. I haven't really talked to much people about it. Just heard a lot about it, people complaining about it, and I was like, this seems kind of stupid, but then it caught fire. And wisdom of the crowd. If everyone feels like something is meaningful, there's something in there that's worth picking apart.
Stopped in his tracks. We stared at each other for about 5 seconds, and then you know what? The bear left.
Out in the middle of nowhere, nobody would ever hear our screams.
My mom got mauled by a bear.
That's crazy because I just talked to the bear's friends and they all said that he didn't do it.
It's making everything I say seem sinister, which it's not intended to be. What's up?
I'm sorry.
No. Sorry, no. There's nowhere to go.
But you guys would rather run into a bear than me.
I would like to go in your room. And I suspect that maybe you might say no, and yet I also feel like maybe you wouldn't dare.
Are you sick of this conversation yet? Is this past the point of being a trend to talk about? Good, because I think that we need to have a healthy retrospective here. And you know what? You actually voted for it too, so that's why we're talking about this topic a bit later on, because I think that people needed to calm down a little bit. And there is so much to genuinely unpack here. If you're not online all the time, even though news sources
I feel like it really hurt men's feelings that so many women basically said men are violent or more dangerous than an actual animal. That, like, yeah, it did hurt a lot of men's feelings. The interesting thing to me is more so like, what's fair about women picking the bear and what's stupid? Because there's legitimate reasons and illegitimate reasons. And a lot of what I heard was like some really stupid reasons. Some girl giving like math and stuff, and it's like, bro, that ain't it.
have indeed covered this.
There's a video on YouTube of a guy who's attacked by a bear and it ripped his face off. Okay, well, Melissa, have you ever thought about the fact that there's tons of true crime about men attacking women? And they do more than rip their face off very often.
The topic at hand is around this question that was posed to women. Would you rather be lost in the woods with a bear or a man? And from a lot of digging and checking, it does actually seem that Screenshot HQ was the one that started this trend on TikTok by asking random women in the street. Also, please never approach me with a microphone in the street. My goodness. Ugh. Let's have a look at the comment section because that's the part that really interests me. The worst thing a bear can do is unalive me and they'll leave my body alone afterwards. A bear won't attack me, then tell his friends that I liked it. Sheesh. We got some problems going on here. So I embarked on a scary deep dive into Reddit, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and looked at the comment sections for everything, and my brain was definitely rotting, so please give this video a like. If you're aware of this topic, this video will be a little bit dark, but we're not getting into any grisly details. Better pun. But as always, there are going to be resources in the description box if you need them, and also I do implore you to wait until the end to comment because there's so much to actually unpack here.
Good boy. Good boy, close it.
I like how she's got the sign, do not replicate this. Like, I love that she recorded that video, but then also in post-editing felt a need to just clarify to people that you should not do this. Thank you. I was planning to go and get my bear to close my door after this, but since the kind lady said don't, I suppose I won't. That's a Chud impersonation, by the way.
Close it.
Look, the closest I've ever come to a bear is at Family Bar on K Road.
Boots the house down, Mama. Yes, God.
I've only lived in the UK and here in Aotearoa, and we are not blessed with bears. And I think that you recognise by now that I'm not really a wild nature person, I'm much more like Meredith. But as Kate Lister reports, bears generally leave humans alone and will alter their behaviour to avoid us where possible. In fact, we pose a far greater danger to them than the other way around. According to Western Wildlife Outreach, 50,000 black bears are legally hunted in North America each year alone. As I've seen women say in comment sections, the bears just want to be left alone like women do. From people.
Okay, but also half of the men, probably more than half the men, are gonna help you out. And like if you're lost in the forest, they'll like figure it out, you know? Because again, it's assuming, I think, that you're like alone in the forest. For survival alone, probably a man. Like I can't carry heavy very far or very well. Chad would be proud, very British. Oh yes, thank you. We like fish and chips. We like fish and chips. We like fish and chips. British after all. That's a second Chad impersonation. You're welcome.
That actually do live around bears and do actually go out into wild nature quite often, and coming up against bears is something which is not actually that out of the ordinary for them.
But the con is, if you encounter a man who's fucking antisocial, you're... And to be fair, if you encounter a bear that wants to kill you and eat you, you're also fucked. The question is, what's the probability? It's really a probability question. Is it more likely to encounter an antisocial man who will take advantage of you in the forest, or a bear who's hungry and will eat you? Again, what kind of bear, okay? The only question that really matters here. If it's a black bear, I'm picking the black bear 100% of the time. If it's a grizzly bear, I'm definitely picking the man, or a polar bear, or a koala bear. They're small, but they're hateful, very hateful. Sun bear, probably pick the sun bear. It's a sun bear. I don't actually know if they're violent. I think they're kind of like sloth-like and slow, you know? I guess if you choose the bear, nobody will ask what she was wearing.
They're picking the bear.
Was she wearing honey and meat? They will ask what she's wearing because they'd be curious if she had properly sealed the food. Okay? People get yelled at all the time for not properly sealing their food, leading to bear attacks. You're wrong. Women are still going to get blamed.
More often than not, bears don't actually attack unless they're hungry or you're near.
So think about it like this: a female police officer or a grizzly bear. Okay, the female officer, but I will also accept that I'm going to get a ticket, you know?
Their cubs. And you know, when you're going into the woods, you are...
Ain't no way I would choose any animal over a man. I feel like you'd pick a gazelle over a man. Like, gazelles have probably a negative 30% chance of doing any physical harm, but they won't benefit you. Whereas bears definitely won't benefit you, but black bears probably won't kill you. Whereas a man, there's a good chance he'll help you. The reality is, the real answer is obviously, like, if it's life or death, you pick the man because you hope that it's going to be a fucking human being who will help you, but...
actually on their territory, so...
Sun bears fight tiger doos. Yeah, but do they fight tigers because they want to, or do the tigers start it? Okay, that's the question. Are they trying to eat the tiger, or is the tiger trying to eat their babies?
Can we be all that angry?
Koala is a marsupial. Yeah, but they're called koala bears, so I'm just using like I'm just being simple. Okay, we're asking a question about a bear versus a man, okay? You're probably the same type of person who weighs in really strongly when we're having conversations like, is chili soup? Is a smoothie soup? Or condiments soup? Is cum a condiment? Kind of. It's more condiment-like than anything else.
We can recognize that when bears come into populated areas, that is quite risky. Like, I can show you this terrifying video of this man easily getting thrown down by a bear, which people were actually mocking the man for, by the way, which was very odd to see. But what happened to that bear afterwards was it actually got euthanized. There was a very tight control around bears. And if you want to get into this statistics debate, you can just watch a video like from Dad Chats, who is on Instagram and TikTok.
Not to mention that most states have laws on self-defense against bears that are, let's just say, very favorable to the human being attacked. Whereas, by the way, in the United States, when a woman who brings a legal claim of self-defense, they are 2 times more likely to be found guilty of a crime themselves.
I'll link the video for you down below. It goes deep into the statistics for everything and unpacks everything. And honestly, I care so little for people trying to dissolve this into those arguments again, as you should have had every single one of them weeks ago by this point, as shown in the intro. I mean, I think that we can all agree that if it was any of these bears that we're seeing on the screen now, we would absolutely be picking the bear, right? Especially this little one here. Look at them with their little balloon. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that's so. See, everybody wants to hug the bear. If not friend, then why friend shaped? But we know not all bears are like this, and not all bears are nice, right? Anyway, so I asked you a question in the poll, and as of filming on the 11th of May, would you rather find yourself alone in the woods with a bear or a man? I specifically said you can't set any parameters, you can't choose the man, you can't choose the bear, everything is random. No, you would be, as Ziegler said,
It's either or. Would you rather find yourself alone in the woods with a bear or a man?
Totally alone.
81% voted for the bear, 19% voted for the man.
Interesting.
And you know what? Whatever answer you chose, I'm going to respect that answer because I asked the question, I gave you 2 choices, and you made your vote. But the part where people were accepting people's choices to a question that they were asked, that hasn't really been happening now, has it? This is the real thing that we're unpacking today, the messy aftermath. For example, this picture went viral where a woman was hiking on a trail and doing some yoga. They wrote, "This was while we were waiting for the bear to move off a track. No fluffing way would be this chill with a man lingering nearby."
Okay, we're going to talk about good examples of ways to engage with this question and bad ones. Here's an example of a fucking stupid way to engage with this. There's no way that I'd be this chill doing yoga with a man lingering nearby. Have you ever been to a gym? Ever? Have you literally ever been to a gym? Do you just you just don't realize that there are men there? That there could be one man there while you're alone? You just wouldn't do yoga? Really? Really? Crazy.
To which the response was, well, if it was a man lingering nearby, you'd be asking for it with those poses.
Again, that is a fucking stupid response from men. Here's the amazing thing. It's not just men that are stupid or women or non-binary. Everyone's stupid. It's all fucking stupid. Okay? It makes me feel like was this just a troll? There's no way. It's probably on Twitter. My expectation of humanity on Twitter is bottom of the barrel, just to be clear. Scum of the barrel, actually.
Illustrating the exact reason why so many women are voting for bear, because you can't even do sports out by yourself, not bothering anybody, without being made unsafe. If 1 in 3 women were getting mauled by bears, we'd agree that we have a bear problem. And yes, that is sadly the global statistic.
There's so many reasons why these arguments are not analogous that actually that scream is all you get. That is the only way I can engage with
violence
this.
Against women, 1 in 3. And that is what the very obviously super broad question is actually about. This is a thought exercise, and it's actually about violence against women. These thought experiments have existed for many years to unpack deep-rooted issues.
Picking the bear is some extreme first world idiocy. I mean, not totally, because again, like most bears, it's essentially a question of like, what's the likelihood of this individual harming me? And like most bears, most of the time aren't going to harm you because most bears are not. But again, most men, most of the time aren't going to harm you because men, by and large, on average, aren't really going around looking for little opportunities that they can get to harm women. But here's one thing that I will say. There is a major problem largely facilitated. For example, if the question was, would you rather be in the forest with a bear or a drunk man? It would be bear every single time for me because most crimes occur on alcohol. And when you're at a club, the way that so many men get lured into acting with the alcohol, reducing their inhibitions, is fucked up. It's fucking insane. And you know it's wrong. A lot of you, probably not my viewers, but maybe you, because the moment a guy shows up, you start acting differently. If you wouldn't do this behavior at a bar with another dude around, it's probably not appropriate. Just to be clear. Like if your bros wouldn't think that you're just being like a Rizzler and you're doing a little bit more, don't fucking do it. Okay? The amount of men that have been excessively inappropriate at bars is wild. Okay? But the problem is, as STV Philly said brilliantly, a lot of the bear women have given extremely dumb justifications for their answer. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. There are legitimate reasons, which would be like, most of the time the bears will leave me away. And they're like, that chance of another individual harming me, I'm just like really not willing to risk it, because the reality is if I don't have food on me, the bear's probably not going to select me if I'm loud.
Choose in the world. You may remember this one from 2021. Which of the following animals, if any, do you think you could beat in a fight without weapons? 6% of Americans believe that they could beat a grizzly bear.
The great animal, Your Highness.
Me too.
It's large and has fur.
And if you don't know, grizzly bears are actually one of the most dangerous kinds of bears in the world, along with polar bears. Oh,
True.
don't let the Coca-Cola adverts fool you. This is the fur of a killer, Bella. 8% also thought they could win against an elephant. No. And 61% thought they could beat a goose. Have you ever seen a goose's teeth and when they're actually protecting their children? I would never take an angry thought they could beat.
Wait, what is this? 72% think that they could beat a rat. My question is, who didn't think they could beat a rat unarmed? Who selected no to that? That's the real question. Who in the is walking around being like, man, I'm so down bad, even a rat could kill me? Like, what? 69% said house cat. Again, I'm not sure why that's not 100%. Goose should definitely be 100%. Medium-sized dog. Okay. Here's the trick, okay? Medium-sized dog, feed them your arm, gouge out their eyes. It's simple. Feed them your arm, gouge out their eyes, rip their jaw, okay? You could do it. It's easy. It's easy. You just gotta sacrifice an arm. That's the strat, boys, right? And gals and ladies. Alice, that one's for you. An eagle? Only 30% thought they could beat an eagle? I mean, assuming you can get it. Could probably kill an eagle. They got bird bones. Just snap that. A chimpanzee. I'm definitely dead. A king cobra? Oh, I guess they have poison. Wait, are king cobras poisonous? Are king cobras venomous? It's venomous. Kill human. Yeah, I could probably kill a king cobra. I feel confident about that, actually. It's venomous, but that doesn't mean that it's gonna like kill you instantly. And it's a snake. Just fucking grab its tail and whip it against the wall, you know, just swing it around and smash it into a hard object, okay? I don't know how people felt more confident about a chimpanzee than a king cobra. A kangaroo would definitely kill me. A wolf probably would kill me. A crocodile would definitely kill me. A gorilla, 100% could kill me. I feel more confident about the elephant than the gorilla, to be honest. But I don't feel confident. Everything from chimpanzee except for king cobra and below, definitely gonna die. Large dog, feet at the arm, gouge out the eyes, still might kill me. I'm gonna be honest. It'll probably kill me. How heavy are chimps? I think I got a shot. No way! A prison in Brazil replaced their guard dogs with geese. That's because they're mean and they bite a lot. That's not because geese are able to kill. I don't even know if I believe you. Brazil replaces guard dogs with geese. Oh, it's because the dogs were napping and susceptible to bribes. They didn't replace it because geese are more like tenacious in killing. It's because they're bigger assholes. The dogs were just like, okay, if you give me Tweeties, then it's okay. Whereas geese were like, no, fuck you. Fuck you, I'm a goose.
A goose. Have you ever seen a goose's teeth and when they're actually protecting their children? I would never take an angry goose on, okay? You can Google the images yourself because I'm not putting myself through that to show you. The key difference between these two questions is the man or bear question isn't asking who could you beat in a fight. This is asking who you would prefer to come across if you were alone in the woods, a man or a bear. You cannot specify the type of bear nor the type of man for that.
This is crazy. A man. I'm sorry. A man, obviously. For me, at least. Obviously.
Is actually where the fear gets created. Your knee-jerk reaction may say man because you'd hope that we're all humans so we'd help each other, right? Well, if you're a woman, being lost in the woods with a man is actually deeply terrifying when you apply context to the situation. And this question was directed at women. Like, I don't know if you've seen the movie Wild, I've used clips of it before, but you could come across this kind of guy, or you could come across this kind of guy, and you don't know who it's going to be. If you haven't seen that movie, I do recommend checking it.
I mean, you do. You have probably an 80% chance that you're going to come across. Now, here's the thing. Some legitimate reasons might be, for example, I've heard some women be like, I have really bad trauma with men. No. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually just fair. That'd be like, I have PTSD of geese. I don't want to come across a goose. That's just fair. Okay? I've heard, again, reasonable reasons. For example, if you're like, I'm a like very petite woman who is not very comfortable asserting her own boundaries. I'm not comfortable with a man because I think the likelihood of something like happening that I'm not okay with is higher, you know? Again, fine. Somebody who's like a fucking disagreeable bitch like me probably should pick the bear because it'll piss off the guy and then it'll kill me.
That was very good. And isn't it odd that the immediate thought that people go to is, who would you rather be attacked by, a bear or a man? Why is it that violence automatically comes up when men are answering this question? There's an assumption that women are helpless without men, like this tweet which circulated really highly shows. From Real Talk with Mo, the man v bear debate is easy. A woman should definitely pick the man. The bear would eat her. It's not going to help her one bit. A man she can bond with to a point where he will work with her to survive in the woods. If she used her feminine traits, he would hunt, build, and protect. As men have done for centuries, women have that power over men. Men will literally go to war for women. The way my eyes nearly rolled to the back of my head when I read that, my goodness. One of my favorite replies was, if I survive a bear attack, people would believe me. If I survived grapes, I'd have to submit to invasive testing and prove it. You made a qualifier of if. You'd only protect if, not just because she's a fellow human. You are exactly why we choose the bear. And this is the whole thing, right?
Okay, hold on. What was his comment? A woman should pick the man, the bear would eat her. Not likely either. If it's not going to help her one bit, a man she could bond with to a point where he will work with her to survive in the woods if she used her feminine traits. To be fair, this is exactly the type of guy that I'm talking about. But to be honest, Real Talk with Mo is probably not a very good example of the average male because he's totally online and he's chatting in a comment thread on Reddit, I think, or Twitter. Oh, he's a Twitter user. Okay, Twitter users should be excluded when you're talking about the average human, myself included. Okay, anybody who is on Twitter, especially when it's not their real name, when they don't have a PFP of their actual fucking face on Twitter, they're not human. Okay, they're just not a person. They have to be excluded from these metrics. They must be.
Over man.
There's so many people. I got this one account today on Instagram called My Burner Account. Went through and like made multiple comments on my Instagram, like negative comments. I'm just like, just grow up and hate with your chest, you know?
I will literally go to war for women.
Okay, hold on.
I'd have to submit to him, not just because it's actually showing the underlying misogyny.
I mean, is there an epidemic of women being attacked in the woods? Because it's like, I mean, like I have like a GPS, I can help you.
This guy was hiking in the woods and he was answering the question and just seemingly earnestly saying, like, what is so wrong? I've got almonds, I've got all this stuff. And, you know, because I like to try and see the best in people, I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is actually where he's coming from. And then you have a look at the comment section and his replies. Oh, no. And then I clicked on his profile and I found another video.
Wait, what's wrong with his replies? The bear, we can predict it. That's a terrible answer! Bella Red, you cannot predict a bear. Are you a bear behavioral expert? I don't know dick wad about bears, okay? Because I don't know, for example, in dogs, when dogs' feet are still, that means intensity is increasing. There's more energy and intensity. When horses' feet are still, it means they're calm. What does it mean when a bear's feet is still? I have no idea. Probably intensity rising because it's a predator, but I don't fucking know. There's no way you can predict it, Bella Red, okay? Fucking stupid. Also, his reply is totally fine. The odds of running across a serial killer hiking in the woods is so infinitesimal, you shouldn't base decisions on it. True. That one's just correct. We are explaining in great detail why we choose the bear. You might want to, listen. really listen. Not accepting your rationalizations for being prejudiced against a group of people doesn't mean I'm not listening. It's simply wrong. Damn, this guy got done dirty. Those are pretty reasonable. God, I hate TikTok so deeply. I'm so excited for when this stupid motherfucking app gets banned and the brain rot can slowly be purged from our land.
From him, which went even worse.
They don't have to be a serial killer, just opportunistic. I agree, but again, then you have to assume what percentage of men are antisocial enough that when given an opportunity would choose to whip someone. That's what you have to figure out. And maybe I'm delusional, but I would like to assume that when we're talking about the average man on planet Earth, that it's like less than 10% would opportunistically just whip a woman. Maybe I'm crazy. Nick, am I crazy?
Hello?
What percentage do you think of men, if they had an opportunity, would choose to whip a woman? What percentage of men do you think would if they had like an opportunity to, would whip women? Like what percentage?
Is it like a theoretically impossible situation where you know you won't get caught and no one will know it was you?
You're alone in the woods.
But like on top of that, theoretically,
I don't know. The question is bear or man, so.
It's in like almost none. Like really low.
Yeah, I think it's like easily less than like 2%. Probably 2% is the max it could possibly be, and it's probably much lower than 2%.
I think 2% would be a fair.
I fake fell so that he had to carry me in his big, strong arms.
Because he was trying to say that he's completely against prejudice, and that was his main problem. And it's like, no.
You think it's about 10%? You think that 1 in 10 men would opportunistically rape a woman? I really don't. Like, I really, really don't feel that way. The problem is that the type of men who would do that stick out like a sore thumb in like I've definitely met men where I'm like, yeah, that guy would definitely opportunistically rape a woman. Like, I've definitely met those guys. I'm not saying that they don't exist. The problem is that they stick out in my brain. But how many men have I just like seen and experienced like that? Like probably hundreds of thousands. Is it a hot bear? Kara's asking the real questions. Thank you for the 5.
Question. Would you rather be in the forest with man or man, bear, pig?
Probably man. Man, bear, pig just sounds gross. Well, antisocial percentage is 0.6 to 3.6% of the world population. Even opportunistically, the percent can't be higher than that. Okay, yeah, let's say 3.6% is the max I'm willing to go.
That wasn't actually the thing.
A bear would be easier to scare off than a man. No, not necessarily. If a bear is okay, most bears are going to fuck off no matter what. The question is, between a man and bear, if they were intending to do harm, what is the percentage of each group that would want to do harm? And then after that, the next question is, what is the likelihood that you could defend yourself? If it's a bear, the percentage chance that you can defend yourself is 0. And the likelihood of scaring it off is very low. If anybody has ever actually had bear encounters where the bear is coming at you and does want to follow you, you are praying, thank Jesus that you have your fucking bear spray on you, and it's terrifying. It's literally awful. The only time I've experienced it, I luckily was riding on a horse with a guy who had a shotgun, and so we were already bigger. We stopped, we shouted at the bear, it started coming towards us, and my boss just clocked it. Thank God, by the way. Like, no. You're not more likely to scare off a bear intending to do you harm, like a mother bear or like a bear that essentially is looking at you as food, or a bear that's for some reason reading you as like territorial. I don't know all of the things that trigger bear aggression because, again, I don't know anything about bears.
Though, right? You're trying to say it's that, but it's not actually that. When it comes to the scary and really nasty comments, I've been clicking on the profiles of these people to see, what they're all about. 90% of these people saying the most violent, sexist, hateful stuff, they don't even have any content. They don't even have a profile. They are super anonymous. So you don't know what these men are even like, except for the fact that you know that they're a man. And this is why the unknown.
But that doesn't even mean, have you ever met somebody who is online? They're like the biggest, like bravest person. They say the worst shit. And then you meet them in person and they're fucking pathetic and weak. Even if you're alone, it's not that likely that a really pathetic, weak man who maybe even opportunistically might be interested in harming you is going to do so if you start screaming at him, fighting back and trying to like hurt him, right? Like, drives me crazy.
It's scaring us even more. So they're just spouting this violence and anger, and we don't even know.
You're giving the bear intent. No, I am giving the man intent. The intent of the man is to fucking opportunistically or kill you. That's the intent of the man. The intent I'm giving of the bear is just the things that I know of that I think would probably cause a bear to be aggressive, which typically isn't going to be. I don't think bears are into that. Keep up.
They are. So this is further leaning into the issue if you don't know the guy that you'd actually come across in the woods. Scarily,
I can't believe I just said that the man is trying to opportunistically rape you, and then somebody had the audacity, Grumpy Mike, to say that I'm only ascribing intent to the bear because I was describing the things that would make it aggressive enough to it. We're talking about rape and murder. The intent is to rape and murder you.
were actually men relishing in the idea that a woman would come across a grizzly or a polar bear and that they would then be begging that they'd chosen a man. The immediate violent response and relishing in that is actually really scary. And even
no, it's not.
Even grosser, so many men were actually making bestiality remarks. And seriously, if your mind immediately thinks of a woman alone in the woods and you straight away go to violence or sex, that's exactly why we're picking the bear.
Show off your hips and legs. A tight little ass.
Please don't say that.
Can't a guy give a girl a compliment anymore?
Even more disturbingly, people have gone the extra steps to actually make memes about this. And this does require a bit of effort to the stuff that people have made. And I actually can't show you most of them because YouTube would not show you this video, okay? But trust me when I say it's incredibly graphic. And then there were also men actually saying that,
but the reaction is men being hurt. And when men are being hurt, they're being stupid, by the way. But that doesn't mean that, like, because men are hurt, that women are choosing the bear, and they're upset that women are essentially saying that you're less trustworthy than a wild animal, and then they make memes about a bear killing you. That doesn't mean that the man wants to kill you, obviously. Even though I'd agree, it's fucking dumb. And that, like, it's like, guys, if you don't want people to react this way, don't do these things. But again, I've been shouting this at leftists forever, being like, hey, if you want people to be sympathetic to your cause, maybe don't burn down buildings and do vandalism. Just a pro tip, okay? I've been saying this. People are very bad at self-advocating for themselves, is what I'm saying, okay?
I would go hug the bear afterwards because they had to spend 10 days alone in the woods with women. And misogyny be misogyny, what can I say? There are TikToks celebrating the fact that bears would get to eat 1,000 women a day. This dude is saying that the woman made the wrong choice by not choosing him. This man was incredibly angry that
Wait, in fairness, if you choose a man or a bear, there's a chance this guy could appear with either choice, okay? This man is a bear and a man. It is a man bear. Okay? No question about it. If you choose the bear, he might show up. It just might happen. Wait, my face, I feel like should be over here because I'm reacting.
Is saying that the woman made the wrong choice by not choosing him. This man was incredibly angry that women were choosing a bear over men.
You ain't watching enough nature documentaries.
And so an ecology major actually responded.
I hate this. Of course they're angry. Of course they're angry. It's reasonable. Imagine if there was a question that went viral where men were being asked, would you rather marry a woman or a sex doll robot? Right? Or some shit like that. And then most guys picked the sex doll robot. Women would be offended because it's offensive, because it's assuming something that's gross about an aggregate group. Okay? Obviously.
And when those attacks do happen, it's usually when someone provokes a bear.
I really enjoyed their response. That's why I'm giggling a bit, because it was very good. And then this guy was bringing up the proximity issue, because we come across men every day in our lives, and are we always feeling unsafe? Do they always attack us? And it's like, actually, if we're out alone, even if we're with a group of people, we are actually feeling unsafe, which is something I'll be getting into later. But the thing is, the question isn't about you specifically, my dear.
I didn't want to start streaming and then immediately jump into this pick me shit, okay? I'm over it. This shit. I think that there are good reasons to pick a bear that are reasonable enough for essentially women being like, you know what? At the end of the day, I think it's a little bit more likely that a man is going to assault me and that there won't be anything that I can do about it versus a bear. I think that's a reasonable enough evaluation to some degree, and essentially being like, I think in the case of a bear, the only reason it would provoke, it would attack me is provocation. Whereas with a man, I'd be afraid that, like, there would be a bounty of reasons that he could attack me, and that's really scary. So I think I'm going to pick the bear. That's fair. Part of this reason why they would even select that's reasonable is going to be about familiarity expectation. Probably for the average woman, they've had lots and lots of really scary and uncomfortable experiences with men, and they've had very few interactions, if at all, with a bear. And so it's obvious why so many women are picking the bear. It's fucking obvious to me. But also we have a fear-mongering culture, particularly with like the true crime bullshit, that is like convincing women that everything out there is more scary than it is, when the reality is that the average man in the woods isn't the one assaulting women, it's their fucking partners. It's their husbands. The real question that should be making women nervous is, would you rather be alone in the forest with your husband or a bear? Because that's actually who's doing harm to women by and large. It's partners and people that they know. It's not random people on the street. But also, we have a culture that is convincing women that they should be afraid when they walk around. And the problem is, sometimes that's valid, but other times it's not. And we don't really want to do the discerning education with women of telling them when it's reasonable and when it's not reasonable, and the steps to take to keep you safe, which would increase women's comfortability of being out in public. Okay? Who's raiding? Who fucking raided me? Oh, you're just yelling at raiders. Gotcha. Okay? I have absolutely been out in public at night alone and been nervous about men. The issue is that what I did is go, okay, hold on. Is this actually a concerning situation? Is there anything about this man's behavior that's indicating to be a problem? The answer was, I think at that time, no. We were like walking along the same direction on the sidewalk. And I was like, is it possible that if I crossed to the other side, would he follow me? A super simple test. And I think I just crossed the other side and he fucking didn't. And I was like, okay, yeah, I have no reason to be concerned about this individual. And then I just continued on with my life. Okay? Good question before marrying. True, Cassie. Most people are hooked on the lies of true crime, believing it's actually true. The issue with true crime is it is true. There are people who do get killed, and it's really tragic. And there are things to be afraid of, especially as a woman, because the reality as a woman is that if a man does choose to do you harm, he will fucking kill you. Because the power differential between men and women at a raw muscle power is too great. The problem is half the people picking the bear are going to be the same women who tell you that the only reason women aren't as physically strong as men is because of pure socialization, and that's it, which makes no sense. If you're just as strong as men, then who cares if you're alone in the forest with a man? Just beat his f***ing ass. Maybe you're the one that he should be afraid of. Who'd you rather have in the wilderness encounter with, Erudite or Fairy Queen? She's probably nicer than me. She's probably more interesting than me too. I would pick Fairy Queen over myself. Although I have a lot of survival skills. So I can build a lean-to. I can build a lean-to with like a fire line that's at the front so it keeps you like a little bit warmer. And I know how to build the fire line so it doesn't set your lean-to or your tree on fire. I can start a fire with a single match. And I can store coal overnight in the pit and relight the fire the next morning with just a warm coal. So, just saying, I'm pretty good. Why are you guys asking about me and Fairy Queen? That's the weirdest comparison. What do you think about the 1 in 5 statistic? I keep hearing this, but I just don't know if it's true. I think it's decently true. I think that there are a lot of men who overstep boundaries with women and victimize them. And there's probably more men that have done so than have even realized that they've done so. I think the 1 in 5 is true. The issue is that the 1 in 5 includes like a pretty broad range. And also the 1 in 5 is also talking about childhood, like sexual abuse. And even though people talk about childhood sexual abuse all the time, there is like a paucity of reporting on childhood sexual abuse. It happens a lot, particularly like within family, like friend group dynamics. So yeah.
Editor here. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and consider joining as a member for only a few dollars a month. We will be releasing videos covering topics from the private and personal to the public and political. So join notsoErudite today on her live-streamed Look on Life.